of mucus of undigested food molecules also. Urinary bladder, it is also a last organ which collect the waste product, urine, etc., till the removal of these things from the body. Fats body. Fats body are some important organs which are present in the amphibians. Basically, these are the organs of fishes which contain fats, and these organs store the fats inside the body of amphibians, and this fats is basically responsible, but it help in amphibians in during their hibernation as well as the mating, because as we know fats contain a large amount of energy. That's why during their hibernation and mating season this fat body actually help them to survive, because during hibernation they doesn't feed anything. There during that time their most of metabolic activities are relying on these fats. Spleen, it is the organ of the actually circulatory systems, which store and destroy the blood cells, which blood cells we know that they after a specific time period they become dull, and this is organ which store them. And cloaca is the last organ of amphibians. Now we move toward the circulatory system of amphibians. First of all, we discuss about the heart of amphibians. The heart of if we see the amphibians are the first animals in evolutionary history which contain double circulatory system. In case of fishes we see that they have only single circulatory system. Double circulatory system mean their blood first flow are moved toward the lungs, and after in lungs it is become oxygenated, and after oxygenation this blood move again back toward the heart, and in heart they again pass through the body. This is the type in which the blood fast flow, जिसमें blood पहले flow करेगा toward lungs, and the toward after lungs, after oxygenation blood again move back to the body. This type is known as the double circulatory system. If we see the heart of amphibians, their heart contain three chambers, that's one ventricle and two atrium. Two additional chambers are also present, but most books write that they have three chambers. These are two additional chambers, that are the sinus venosus and the trunk arteriosus, also present in the heart of amphibian. For example, this is the ventricle part of the amphibians, and this is the left auricle, and here we also see that this is the right auricle. These are three important parts, and now we discuss about sinus venosus. This is the upper part, that's the sinus venosus, and this is the trunk arteriosus that's lying behind, and it is a very much smaller part. These are the parts of amphibians heart. The blood of amphibians or the blood of frog. If we discuss about blood is actually liquid connective tissues. These are the types of connective tissue which are present in liquid form, and basically this is the organs, or these are the fluid which is responsible for circulation of different material inside the body, as well as for gaseous exchange till the cells. If we see blood like the high organism, the blood of amphibians also contain two parts, that are the plasma as well as the blood cell. Plasma is two-third part of the blood, mean most of the part of the amphibians blood contain plasma, and another important thing, that's the plasma also contain about 90% water, and some minerals, some salts, food particles that's absorbed from the small intestine. Similarly, waste products, different hormones are also present, also the part of the plasma, which are present in digestive form, or in dissolved forms. While we discuss about the blood cell, blood, like the higher organism, amphibians also contain the erythrocytes are the RBCs. Similarly, leukocytes are WBCs, and the thrombocytes are the platelets. The main difference in blood of amphibians and higher organism is that amphibians blood is again nucleated. Mean their red blood cells, we can see that this is the red blood cells. These are nucleated. Not only the red blood cells, their WBC, their lymphocytes, their thrombocytes also are the nucleated. These are different types of blood. So we also see that fishes also contain the nucleated bloods. Now we move another system, which is the nervous system of frogs. The nervous system of amphibians is relatively complex as compared to the fishes, because it contains both the central nervous system as well as peripheral nervous system. Uh, if we see the central nervous system of amphibians, it contains the brain as well as spinal cord, while the peripheral nervous systems consist of the somatic as well as the autonomic nervous system. In peripheral nervous system, the most important thing, which is mostly asked in different types of tests, is that the peripheral nervous system of fishes contain 12 pair of cranial nerves. दिमाग से निकलने वाली nerves का जो number है amphibians में, that's the 12. So while the spinal nerves are 31 in pair. Both of these are in pair, and 12 are cranial and the 31 are the spinal nerves. Now we move toward the reproductive system of amphibians. Amphibians basically reproduce sexually, and their fertilization may be external as well as they may be show the internal fertilization. Um, they also show different type of the reproductive behaviors or strategies. For example, they use calling, and they secrete different types of chemicals for ejecting their mates. They produce eggs, but the most important thing which separate them from higher vertebrates is that their eggs does not are amniotic type, mean amniotic fluids and membranes are not present in their eggs, and that's why they does not contain amniotic eggs. That's why they must reproduce inside the water. Without water, their reproduction is not successful, and they does not achieve their results. Similarly, amphibians larvae amphibians larvae shows the indirect mechanism of development and metamorphosis is present, which involve in the conversion of juvenile into adults. Most amphibians are viviparous, mean they lay eggs. This is the life cycle of the amphibians. That's they uh, lay the eggs, and after fertilization, eggs converted into the larvas. Larvas is elongated animals, that's also known as the tadpole, and this tadpole also contain the tails, etc. And we know that they mostly feeding on the vegetative parts, as well as bacteria, etc. And their larval stages, in their initial stages of life, they attached themselves through a substratum, either plants, either rocks, etc. And after sometimes they can start moving. This is the archon, that's upper column, because they contain gills in larval stages, and upper column also present in their uh, larval stages, just like the osteothys fishes. They have upper column, not the condylothys fishes, and they respire similarly. Wrapping teeth are also present, and after some time their hind limbs will appear. In the initial stages, limbs are absent, but after some stages, hind limbs are also produced in their body. Similarly, the tail that's present in their initial stages gradually decreased and reduced, and after they're converting into adult frogs, their tail is completely large. That's about the physiology and the anatomical features of the amphibian science frogs. I hope you enjoy this lecture video. Please give me your comments as well as subscribe my channel. Thank you.